Welcome to Skyvia Tutorials. In this video, we will be focusing on QuickBooks CSV import and export automation. And in particular, we're going to take a look at how to sync QuickBooks transactional data using Skyvia. Let's consider a case where a business receives invoices from vendors and needs to automate the process of loading data into QuickBooks. We will cover two scenarios: the automated data import from a CSV file located on FTP storage to the QuickBooks Invoices, and exporting QuickBooks Bills to the CSV. Skyvia supports connections with both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. For this tutorial, we will focus on an example using QuickBooks Online. This tutorial assumes you already have a Skyvia account. If you don't have one, you can create it for free by following the link in the description. Let's start by creating connections to QuickBooks and FTP storage. To connect to QuickBooks, click Create New and select Connection. Look for QuickBooks in the list. Select the environment type and click Connect to QuickBooks. Sign in with your QuickBooks credentials and save the connection. Now let's create a connection to the storage. Skyvia can connect to various storage, such as FTP, SFTP, Google Drive, Box, Dropbox, S3, and Onedrive. To connect to an FTP server, specify the FTP host, username, password, and port if needed. Once the connections are ready, let's set up the import of QuickBooks Invoices from a CSV file. To import data from a CSV file to QuickBooks, click Create New and choose Import. Select a source type, CSV from Storage Service. Select the FTP storage service as source and QuickBooks as target. Now let's define the source file, target QuickBooks object, and map their columns. To do this, we will create an import task. Select a CSV file from your storage. Specify the CSV separator and other file parameters, and make sure the column list is displayed correctly. Next, select Invoice as the target object in QuickBooks. Skyvia supports importing various transactional data such as invoices, bills, purchase orders, payments, and transfers. Skyvia also works with other QuickBooks objects like customers, vendors, employees, and so on. Choose one of the available operations. Insert adds source data to target. Update changes the values in target, and upsert adds new records while updating existing ones. Use delete, for instance, when you need to mass delete data from QuickBooks via CSV. In our case, select Insert. Let's define column mapping. On the right, you see all the columns of the target object. Columns marked with the required symbol must be filled to create a new invoice in QuickBooks. Please note that the invoice line column contains complex structured data and should be specified in the JSON format. Skyvia will automatically map columns with the same names, but you can adjust the mapping as you see fit. Let's apply the filter to display only the unmapped columns. You can map the column directly, set the constant value, use the functions and operators in the expression, or select Target Lookup to obtain a value from a different QuickBooks object. We mapped the column. Once it is done, save the task. If you need to import multiple CSV files, you can add several tasks. Let's set up the import schedule. Skyvia provides flexible automatic run settings, allowing you to set up a schedule for specific days, times, intervals, and more. We'll schedule it to run every Monday at 10 a.m. Validate the integration to make sure all connections are available and the integration is set up properly. Once everything is set up, click Create. Let's run the import and check the results. On the Monitor tab, you see the number of rows imported, and if some rows fail to import, you'll receive an error log. Additionally, you can receive email notifications in case the integration fails. We presented a method for automating the data import from a CSV file and storage into QuickBooks. Let's move to the second scenario, Export QuickBooks data to CSV. Consider the case of exporting bills to a CSV file and uploading it to FTP storage. To start, click Create New and choose Export. Select QuickBooks Online as a source and CSV to Storage Service as a target. Specify the folder to upload the data to. Now let's move on to adding the export task. Select the object you want to export. All its columns will be exported by default, but you can deselect any columns you don't need to include. Additionally, you can export data from referenced objects. For example, here are the columns of the bill's vendor. If you select the vendor's phone numbers, they will be displayed for each bill in the CSV file. The exported CSV file is typically named by the source object followed by the export execution timestamp. However, you can specify a different name. Use the filter option to select the data you want to export. For example, we'll export only the records with a balance greater than 0. Finally, you can set up how to order the records in the file. Let's choose to have the newest records listed first. In the next step, you can review and edit the names of the columns in the exported file. As with any integration in Skyvia, you can set up a schedule to automatically start exporting at the time or interval you want. Now let's create the integration and we're ready to run it. You can check the results on the Monitor tab. All the rows were exported successfully and the file was uploaded to the specified destination. With this tutorial, we are pleased to help you automate the CSV import to QuickBooks and export data to the storage. Try Skyvia for free using the link in the description. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thank you for watching and we will see you in the next videos.